Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr.Lamba's Awakening Call. We can always better ourselves by following the lives, the actions of some people, the people who have acted in a way to prove that they were really authentic, the people who strove, lived, and died by the principles and the ideals that they uphold and cherish. But the people were not swayed by threats, by dangers, even by death, or by power, or pelf, wealth. Neither greed, nor fear, nor charm can detract them from the life that they have sought for themselves, from the path they have created for themselves, from the way of working, living according to the precepts and the convictions that they have. And what better they can be that can be than if we have the examples of young fellows, 5-year old and 7-year old according to some, or 7-year old and 9-year old according to the others, who resisted all blandishment, all threats, all temptations, and embraced death willingly, happily, smilingly, and defiantly. And today is a day when two young sons of the 10th Guru of Sikhs, Guru Gobind Singh, acted in a way to show that being authentic is not the prerogative of mature, developed adults, but even people as young as 7-year-old and 9-year-old can act and die according to their own faith, their own belief. Guru Gobind Singh had to leave his citadel at, in Punjab, in Chumkaur. His two sons and his mother were separated, and they went towards a small town, Sarhand, and they were being guided by their servant, Gangu Brahmin. But then people are always poor and trapped by money. The filthy lucre always blinds people. And this Gangu Brahmin betrayed them to the rulers, the Mughal rulers, who were out to sniff Gobind Singh and his family. His two sons had already died in Jumkaur, elder sons, 17-year-old and 14-year-old. And these two sons, 9-year-old and 7-year-old, along with their old grandmom, were arrested and lodged in Thanda Burai, the cold tower, severe winter, freezing temperature, no air conditioning, no heating, no warm blankets and quilts, shivering they were there, and they were brought into the court. They were asked to embrace Islam, which they refused. They were told that they'll become Nawabs. They refused. They were told they'll have money. They refused. Then they were told that they will die. And then the response was very clear. Both brothers joined hands and shouted that your threats had no effect. We are sons of Gobind Singh. We have our own life to live according to the principles taught to us by our father, and your blandishments or your threats are meaningless. Do you know what happened? History is a witness to the most horrible deed that was ever committed. They were walled alive, walled alive. And every time a break would come up, they were asked, are you willing to accept now? And they would smile and say, no, contemptuously. When the bricks reached the neck, the last brick was to be placed, which would come up to their eyes. They were again asked, well, this is the last brick. Are you willing? They said, no. And they shouted the Sikh salutation, Bole So Nihar. Last brick was replaced. They died. And do you know, here I like to point out one thing, that honesty is not the preserve only of any religion. It was a Hindu who had betrayed them, and it was a Muslim who protested against this inhuman, cold, cruel practice. Nawab of Malerkotla, he told the Sarhand ruler that what you're doing is not proper. These are young kids. Our fight is with Gobind Singh, not with 7-year-old children. And he was told that sons' children are potential snakes. Snakes of a son are poisonous as well. Let's crush them. And he protested and left the court. He said, I will not be a party to this anymore. And then he was rewarded and blessed by Gobind Singh later on. And the motto of the house of the Nawab of Malerkotla is, Tera ghar mera asay, that your home is my shelter. So much so for the humanity of Nawab of Malerkotla. But look at the cruelty. And then their bodies, dead bodies, were not allowed to be buried. Ultimately, Totamal came up. He took 4 feet of land where they had been walled alive, paid for it, became penniless because he was asked to cover the land with the gold coins, not lying down but standing upright. That was the costliest piece of land ever sold in history, even till today. In the meantime, the tidings reached the grandmom in the coal tower, and she also died. And they died today, and tomorrow, the next day, 28, was their cremation. Now, what I'm talking to you about, well, what I have always been saying, that a better human being is only he who can stand by his convictions and doesn't allow any threat, any fear to sway him from the path of righteousness. And I'm not saying what righteousness says. That is your authentic voice of the conscience. Are you willing to stand by your convictions and not let the blandishments and the greed sway you, or the threats send shivers of fear in your spine? If you're authentic, life and death is immaterial. What is material is your ideas, your principles, your thoughts, your perceptions. I am at this time not concerned with the theological part of the demand of Nawab Sarhand asking him to embrace Islam. Maybe that was his credo. Maybe he was living up to his principles. Right and wrong, I'm not judging them. But I'm at present showing the bravery of these two young kids, not even 10, 7-year-old and 9-year-old, who were absolutely fearless. And when I imagine their mien, upright, heads held high, eyes blazing forth in righteous indignation, and anger at the blandishments, and look of amusement at the threats given to them. These are the role models for not only for the children, but even for the grown-ups. How many of us are not swayed by the offer of power or offer of money? If the offer of money and the wealth was not a motivating factor, would there be that much of corruption in the world? The corruption in the world, the value of which today, world global corruption is $20 billion a month. Imagine that corruption. $20 billion a month. And if you look at specific instances, because that's spread over a long time, it is staggering. And those young kids were absolutely not bothered about the offer of wealth than the power, which is the last attraction anybody can have. They were offered marriages to the most beautiful ladies. These young kids stood by their conviction, and that is a sign of being authentic, to live and to die for the sake of your conviction, your principles. That is being authentic. And death, what is death? Death is a transition from one life to an unknown other one. Do these people ever die? That's the point. Physical death, yes, but even today, after 500 years, we have not forgotten them. They are, in fact, a lighthouse in the stormy period of life. They stand out as shining stars, as the guiding stars for the people when the people are afflicted, when the people are in doubt whether to accept greedy offers or to stand by your convictions. That's $1 million question that faces us at every step. And at every step we falter. We choose often the easy way out, the more promising way out, that is, swayed by the filthy lucre, the glitter of the gold, the power of the office, and also swayed by the fear of torture and death. In fact, what these two young kids did is a sign of higher enlightenment. They knew themselves, they had identified their ideals, and knowing themselves, knowing fully well that money, power are transient things, that death is going to come one day or the other. But the ideals, if once we leave them, then we are no better than animals. And that is where these kids are a role model for the children. And that's why I had started a petition to the Prime Minister, and the petition is as stable, that December 27th should be a Children's Day, because these children are the role model for the children in this era, or rather in all ages to come. They can teach the virtues of being fearless, being bold, being honest, being authentic. Can they be better role model not only for the kids but even for the grown-ups? These are the kids who are kids in age, chronological age, in calendar age, but in reality, they are super beings, superhuman beings, awesome, gigantic, unparalleled, unique, fearless. I remember them, close my eyes, and pay my homage to them. And at the same time, they are an everlasting reminder of the capability of scaling the Olympian heights of bravery, of idealism, of being real human beings. This is the sort of the people who make life what it is, worth living. These are the people who show that resistance to oppression, resistance to the blandishments is the real fight, not accepting the blandishments and not succumbing to the fear. So learn the art of sticking to your principles, of resisting blandishments, of being fearless from these gates, and thus better thyself. Thank you.